Okay, it gave me that error message, but usually it comes up anyway.
Looks like it's up.
Do you see it?
Yep.
Okay, folks. Well, David and Corey here. We're live with Quantum Leap, and happy Halloween. We're excited to bring you a special showcase today. And one of our longtime favorite guests, Nancy Williams, who's a master of marketing, and we're going to about that in just a second here. I just want to first welcome Corey, and if you don't mind introducing yourself, Corey.
Yeah, hey everyone, I am Cory and I am co-owner of Take Wing Coaching, and I work on coaching business partnerships to success.
Okay, great. And I know you've known Nancy for a while too, and she's really a model person in B&I and just a great person to know in Oakland. We have kind of a lot of good things to say about her, but did want to just read a little bit from her bio. She actually has a degree in sociology from UCLA, and she's really worked in franchising for a number of years. And she was a content contributor for Black Enterprise magazine. And she does a lot of work out in the community. She started the Money Pages franchise in Oakland, and now does some digital advertising, which was kind of the next step from that. I'm going to let her explain that transition, but she's really just a master of business and marketing, as we'll see. And with that, Nancy, I just wanted to see if you don't mind just telling us a little bit about your story. And we've talked about Money Pages, how that's kind of led into what you do now.
Great. Well, first, thank you for having me on the podcast. It's always great to be here with you and Corey, and I enjoy doing this. And hopefully, I can share a few words of wisdom to help another business owner out, and it won't be too spooky, I promise. So yeah, I'd love to share. I mean, basically, as you mentioned, my foray into really the marketing space was a franchise called Money Pages that my husband and I bought back in 2000. We really enjoyed that franchise. It was mostly focused on direct mail marketing. We had a magazine that would mail to 50,000 households in the Oakland Hills every month. But as we know, Oakland has a lot of business challenges, and what we saw that the space for direct mail, which really focused a lot on our consumers in the Oakland Hills and purchasing business from our local businesses in the Oakland area, it wasn't catching on as much as we had hoped because of some of the challenges that the city of Oakland is dealing with. So we decided to retire the magazine. However, our digital product was getting such great praise from some of our clients that were on the digital product, and we actually pivoted some of our clients that were on the direct mail to the digital product, and they loved it as well. So we decided that we would move forward. We spoke with our franchisor, and we have pivoted over to selling digital services through 3D Digital, which is still part of Money Pages. It's the digital arm of Money Pages. So we still have a fantastic team behind us, and we're really, really excited about it. So I would say 2023 for us has been about pivoting to more of the digital space. We were doing it with the magazine, as I said, but now we are solely devoted to that. And that just helps us help more clients, not just in the local Oakland area, but we can run a campaign all over the country to help small businesses grow.
Great. And Money Pages was a beautiful magazine with the ads and things. And you know at the same time, I see how there is a lot of like solopreneurs, folks who, in order to be in that magazine, they need to be kind of like a bigger small business like Ruth, where you have a Ruth, who's a well-known insurance agent in Oakland, where you have, 10 or more employees to have the budget to do it. But I think the hardest challenge, it seems like, and something we really focus on this show, is how do you take a solopreneur and turn them into that kind of $1 million business? Because that's, I think, for a lot of people, the hardest challenge to make, especially in this climate, you see a lot of restaurants, maybe they bring in a lot of revenue, but the profits are, were probably sometimes negative during COVID. So you mentioned
Sure.
those challenges. I don't know if you I always like doing a little check in on the business climate in Oakland, but if you, we're going to talk more about that later. So I first wanted to get to some of these kind of upfront things with you about what do most businesses need when it comes to digital marketing. I do marketing. I just find a lot of people are kind of, clueless. It's kind of a harsh reality, but if you don't mind giving us your thoughts on that.
Yeah, that's so true. I know that that is a harsh word, clueless. However, I think that, entrepreneurs tend to get caught up in the excitement of the launch, and they think that, they're going to open the doors or open the website, and, customers are just going to come flying through. But that's really, what the core reason marketing is so important, because that's just not the case. I mean, even if you do have a new product or service and people are excited about it, that the curve on that goes down very quickly, because people are now finding your competitors to see if they can get what you're offering cheaper, faster, or whatever it is. That's going to quickly decline there. So I would say that what most businesses need is to make sure that they have a marketing plan and that they're investing in the budget. What I really love about our product at 3D Digital, as I said, I don't think I would have stayed with this platform for digital advertising if I didn't think that what 3D Digital offers is world class. So our product, our tactic, I would say, is to help businesses grow by leveraging this proprietary software that we have, some proprietary technology, and we hyper target potential clients and customers wherever they work and play online. So we refer to that as hyper digital targeting, or digital display, and we consider it to be an active and somewhat aggressive way to build brand awareness and increase web traffic to ultimately help increase conversions. So I know that's a mouthful, but literally what we do is we work on behavior of folks that are online, surfing, shopping, playing, whatever it is. We don't really care what the website is that the person goes to. We're not targeting a specific web type. Website, we are actually targeting behavior. So if you were to work with us, number one um, our number one tactic is to find out where your target customer is online, and to show your ad to that customer multiple times a day, multiple times a week, multiple times a month, until they take some sort of action, which would be to click on the banner and launch to your website. And we even have retargeting. So if they launch to your website, but they don't take action, we will still continue to show them your ad. So I say it's aggressive because some people refer to it as sort of stalking, and that's basically, you think your phone or your computer is listening to you, but we on the back end, we've gathered years and years of data to see um, how people behave online. And so if we work with you to identify your perfect target customer, we are going to find them online, and we are going to follow them as they spend their day, surfing or shopping or just reading articles or going to websites that they normally go. So, I would say, to your question, we think that people need a more active way to target potential customers, rather than passive. And so what we see a lot is social media tends to be more passive. It's people that already have used your service, or people that are friends of yours or friends of friends, and they follow you. But it doesn't necessarily mean that people are finding you so that you can offer them your product or service.
Mm.
Great. And um, I know I was going to pose this to, well, how about we'll hear from you first, and Cory and I might give our thoughts. But I love this one about what mistakes do you see people making out there with marketing and advertising? I'll give one example. You often will see somebody who starts a new business, and they'll go buy cups and make shirts, and they'll do all this stuff before they're even taking in any revenue, when it's really about kind of doing what you need to do in like the right order for kind of as cheap as possible. So I'd love to hear Cory's thoughts on this question too. Yeah. We'll go to you first, Nancy.
Okay. Well, what I would say is a couple things. I would say, and it goes to exactly what you were saying. So not understanding what tactics work for the goals they're trying to achieve, right? So everyone loves free stuff, but is that free stuff going to get them to buy something from you? That's the question. So while it's a tactic, it's certainly a marketing tactic. Is it going to help you achieve the goal that you're looking for? So another great example of that is what I talked about on social media. Well, a lot of times when I talk to clients, I say, "Are you doing digital advertising?" And the first thing they say to me is, "Yes, I'm on social media. I'm on TikTok. I'm on, Facebook," and that's social media marketing, but that's not digital marketing. That's not digital targeting in the way that we define it in the industry. So those again tend to be passive ways. And if you're a brand new business owner, you probably have zero followers. So the point is you need to go out and find those followers first, and then you can start, sending them TikTok videos, and they'll share those with their friends and colleagues. But you need to go out and aggressively find those customers first, and get them preferably to your website, and either purchasing something or signing up for a free consultation or something where you can capture their contact information. So I would say that's probably one of the most common. The other ones are age old issues, which is either not investing enough time or not investing enough money. And that's the problem with social media as well. We all know that, posting one video a week is not going to get your social media growing. It's not going to get enough followers. It's not going to get you enough notice. So if you're going to do it yourself, you're going to have to spend a lot more time investing in posting videos or posting content. But the other thing is money. So you find people underestimate the budget that they need for marketing. And the problem with that is, honestly, if you're not spending enough, you're probably wasting the money that you've invested, because it's just not getting you to the threshold. So it may get you a little bit there, but your expectation is probably much greater for the budget that you have, and you find yourself not getting there. So again, not understanding what tactics work for your goals, and then not investing either enough time or enough money. Those I would say are those are the mistakes I see the most.
Yeah, and Corey, do you have any
Yeah.
thoughts on this? She raised a number of key things there that we can pivot on, but
Yeah, I think one thing that we are definitely seeing as a problem is there are some companies out there where you see this, you see a lot of hype on Facebook, like, hey, I can get you X number of dollars in in a certain amount of time. And what's happening is that these, usually they're young people, not always, but they get some success, right? They find something that works for one client, get a major growth success, and then they're like, we can replicate this for a bunch of people. They get a lot of signups, and then they wind up being too busy to actually service their customers. So we actually ran into that last year, where it just felt like what we paid for, we were not getting from the company. And they did a really poor job of the follow through. We got a lot of prospects, but they weren't quite qualified for what we wanted, and it did give us some insights. But it can be really dangerous to invest money in these hyped up marketing systems, and so you gotta it's also spread some of your advertising dollars, and some people who are probably more established and aren't growing like by leaps and bounds, because it's hard for people to get that kind of staffing. So look at their outcomes for multiple customers, not just a few. And then the other side of it is that we've often run into is the sales side. Depends on what it is that you're marketing, but I've seen companies that invest a great deal in marketing, and then there's nobody to pick up the phone. So it doesn't really help them to bring in leads when they don't have the sales team to take care of those leads. And so they're just spending money or throwing money away really on that. So there's a sales side of things that are very important. In some cases, that doesn't matter. I mean, if you're doing a restaurant or other kinds of things, but if it's catering or maybe even like appliances and services and so on, there's got to be somebody who's going to actually take care of all those leads.
yeah, well put on. I just thought of an analogy with baseball that, you really have to kind of create like a flawless funnel. Like say you have a great defense, but your third baseman can't field, everybody's going to hit it there. You're going to lose everything there. So, it takes time to get there. And I think what I loved about Money Pages and what you do, and what I try to explain to people, and what you touched on, Nancy, is you really want to reach a critical mass. And that takes time too. It's like Ruth Stroop, the insurance lady. Everybody knows her around Oakland. And part of that, Money Pages had a big part, kind of further solidified that. So, oh yeah, you insurance, go to Ruth. I see her stuff everywhere. She's has bags that she hands out at events. She's in Rotary. She's in, you know, all those Money Pages. Same with Cory, being known as a business coach. And I think you do it a little bit different way with BNI. And I think you really need to kind of experiment with different things and have kind of a coach that you work with, because similar to leadership, I feel like we can only go so far as our own marketing knowledge takes us. So say you work with a new client, they actually have to get up to speed on marketing. Otherwise they won't do the things they need to do. And I think that's a big challenge for us as marketers. So just some of
Yeah,
my initial thought.
that actually brings up
You have
another
anything
thought,
to
which I think Nancy, serves so well, is that a lot of people, it kind of depends on the servicing. Like if you have a service area, your area and who your customers are. But in a lot of cases, like coaches and we're kind of in this like, oh, I can work with anybody anywhere, so I'm going to just advertise everywhere or not even be sure how to do it. And yet there's a huge advantage to being local. And when I owned the Ascentive franchise, it was actually required that we stay within our marketing region. So even though I could pick up clients anywhere, if they came to me, I could only advertise or market within a certain region. And I remember I went to my the owner, and I said, hey, we'd like to expand our region. Oakland is kind of, it just feels a little confining, like a more Alameda than just Oakland. And he's like, well, there's 40,000 businesses in Oakland, how many of them are your clients? And so it was just like, okay, that's a lot of business. There's a lot of potential business in your local area. And so what Nancy's doing is offering something that will help you reach that target market, and you're probably likely to get more effect than trying to cast a really wide net. Yeah.
Yeah, just real quick on that. I agree completely. I think that, we always say when you're in business, you really have to define your target, right? And part of that, the reason you want to do that so well is that your marketing and your sales tend to go hand in hand with that, right? So you're spending in the areas that you feel are going to give you the biggest bang for your buck. And so one of the things, I talked about this proprietary, software and system that we have at 3D Digital. And one of the, two of the tactics that I really love that work extremely well for our clients are around what we refer to as geo-targeting, right? And that really, really gets you that local feel. So that can split off in two ways. We have geofencing, which, for a brick and mortar is fantastic. I mean, we create an invisible geographic barrier around the brick and mortar. And anytime anyone passes, within a certain geography, we can set it at 5 feet or 5 miles or 7 miles, whatever it is. They're going to start seeing our clients' ads. So that works great, not only for the store or the shop that person owns, but we can also do the same with their competitors. If they own a fitness center, and you can geofence their closest competitors, and then every time someone goes by a competitor, we can geofence and start showing ads to those people. So we can do that, but we can also do what we refer to as addressable geofencing, and we can actually fence residential addresses, just like when we were mailing to the magazine, we could actually go down to the address level. So if you are a home improvement service provider, painter, roofer, we can actually pick certain houses, neighborhoods, and start showing just your ads to those people in those areas. And we have an amazing amount of criteria that we can use. Someone that's hasn't painted their house in 5 years, household income, are there children, are they over a certain age? So, when you are marketing local, you have a much better opportunity to capture those people. And that to me is a great place to start, is where you live and where you work, and work on those folks first, and then grow out from that space.
Right.
Right. Yeah, just a time check. We have about 4 minutes, so we might do a little lightning round on the second set of questions, Corey. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I think we've heard her why, but I guess, what keeps you going in this? I mean, it is a changing market, so and there's
Yeah,
always other opportunities. Yeah.
there is, but I think, as I've been on this podcast before and I've talked to you guys about it, but I'm driven by seeing other people succeed, and then I love knowing that I contributed my unique set of skills to help make that happen. Everybody has, we talk about superpowers. Everybody has their unique skills that they bring to the table, whether it's personally they have them themselves or they have the connections to bring them to the table. So I love seeing people succeed. I help a lot of people that never pay me a dime,
Mhm.
but as I said, I really am driven by seeing their success and knowing that I was able to help them in some way, just as others have helped me. So that's really my why.
Nice. Yeah, okay. Well, so how has, I mean, we're kind of coming out of this age. I guess it's, 3 years now, but it still plays a role. So how would you say has COVID really kind of affected advertising?
Yeah, so I would say during the age of COVID, or during the height of COVID, I would say more people were into the online space because, of course, they just simply couldn't make personal
Right.
interactions, or that going out was restricted. Um, so you you really, so I would say what has changed there, at least online, is that people are realizing you can't do it what everybody else is doing. You have to look for some sort of unique approach or tactic, because there was too much competition during COVID with everyone being at home and being sort of isolated. I would say in the post-COVID world, people are driven more to experiences, right? So they're seemingly trying to make up for the things that they weren't able to do when they were on lockdown. So, interestingly enough, I would say a little tidbit, hopefully to help, maybe a small business owner out there is, if you have a product rather than a service, my recommendation would be to try to promote your product or your service by improving or enhancing a person's experience in their daily life. So, not you're just not talking about a product because you want to sell a handbag, or you want to sell a shirt, or you want to sell, home goods products, but just, really tying it to an experience that's going to make the person really push that purchase button, or go into your location, is because they want to enhance the experience of their day-to-day life, as opposed to just add another object or
Right.
item to their closet.
Makes sense. Yeah. So who is your ideal client these days?
Gosh, it's pretty similar to ones I've been working with. Although I will tell you, Dave mentioned it a little bit earlier, which is, small business is challenged with dollars, marketing dollars. So we do like to work with small to medium-sized businesses that are in any sector, but they're in growth mode, right? So we're looking
Mhm.
for them that are folks that are willing to commit to a budget, commit to some time, an investment in there, and ready to take their business to the next level. We talked about franchising earlier. You mentioned that I have a strong background, and one of the things I really love and admire about the franchising space is they get it. They understand marketing and advertising like nobody's business, right? So that is mandatory that franchisees invest, a monthly, weekly, or monthly percentage of their sales back into the marketing. So they know that it's important to be in consumers' faces as much as possible. Otherwise, you get lost in the crowd. So I do like working with franchises. So that would be an ideal client of mine, and multi-location businesses such as dental offices, optometrists. Those are always good. And then home improvement that has, services multiple areas, or they might have multiple locations, and they just know that they want to claim their share of those consumer dollars and are willing to invest to get it.
Nice.
gr- Great. Yeah, we're at time here. Our next guest is going to come. I'll just make a couple closing comments. And, when I said most people are clueless, I feel like I'm clueless a lot of the time on marketing. When I discover something new, I'm like, I had no idea what I was doing until I learned this, because so much of it's about, the market's always changing. How we sell our product is changing. and then, you know, our knowledge is always changing. So I think the big changes for me, or epiphanies, came to actually get feedback from other people. That's why I feel BNI is so powerful, because we don't see those blind spots. So we have to have other people suggest things. And to your point, Cory, I saw, you know, is it Dennis O'Leary, or Mr. Wonderful, the Shark Tank guy? He was saying it's an exciting time with social media because it empowers individuals, but it really depends on, you know, what you're serving, so to speak. And then you also can't forget about that locality. And that's why I think you're such a good person to know locally, and why Oakland's such an exciting place to do business, because you have such tight ties in the community that if you can make it there, it makes it a little easier to get your business if you learn those local aspects. So if you want to learn more about marketing, you can really contact any of us, or definitely contact Nancy if you're ready to go on digital stuff. And I'm always sending her referrals, and people are always happy to talk to you, Nancy. So who I refer, they thank me all the time. So with that, we're going to close up here, and great work, Nancy. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and I can't wait to be back. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Bye, Nancy.
Very good.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.